Welcome to the Hardheaded Podcast,
where we are taking a practical and realistic approach to becoming better fathers.
All right, welcome to another Hardheaded episode. Today we are back talking about being a dad. And with me I got Mr. Chet Sears and Mr. Matt Amos. I am Troy Trussell, your host today. Last week we kicked off a series that we're doing talking about how to be a good father. So 23 qualities of a good father, traits and characteristics. This is an article written by Jeff Campbell on newmiddleclassdad.com. And so we thought this was a great article, so we just wanted to share a lot about it. Today we're going to be going through traits number 4, 5, and 6, which are take an active interest in their interests. Number 5, let kids develop their own interests. And number 6, don't have a different set of rules for your kids than you do for yourself. That one kicks me in the teeth. But we're going to look at number 4 first. So take an active interest in their interests. Chet, what are your thoughts on that?
This is hard. It was hard for me.
This is, I think, on this list, for me, I think this is the hardest one.
Yeah, well, I think what's awesome is of all, and I've known you, 10 years now? Close to it?
Yep. Somewhere around that.
I would never, on my bingo card of Matt's interests, would be figure skating. Like, I never would have picked that.
Yeah.
Up until, how long has Lily been doing this? Like 5 years now?
4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So, Matt is routinely at a skating rink, and so I get to see your videos that you put up of your daughter doing ice skating. So you have taken an interest in something that you probably is 100% her interest and not yours. Can you name any other figure skaters in this world?
No. And there was one that that came to Wichita because Wichita is hosting some national championship next year at Intrust Bank Arena.
Yeah.
I think it's a doubles or pairs or something like that. And so one of the guys came down to her rink while she was there and did a demonstration, and she came home just all fangirling, over this dude, and his spins are amazing and blah, 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 and so, I'm like, all right, and he did a couple interviews here around town, and but it's really hard for me, but I did see one performance from a skater where she was dressed up as Wednesday from the Addams Family.
Okay.
And incredible routine. And I thought that was just awesome. And so, I'm showing my kid, hey, check this one out. I thought this was really cool, and now, seeing kind of getting into how she goes about it, because she's very artistic when she skates. So she's not one of the ones that, just does all the, all these crazy jumps, even though she can, and they're intertwined, but she likes to tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of what she does. And so I keep trying to convince her. I'm like, hey, the Pacific has a really good opening theme.
And if you don't know, the Pacific is a HBO TV miniseries, like 10 episodes, that is the follow-up to Band of Brothers, but it follows a Marine unit in the Pacific.
And so I was like, we could do all of these things to honor, the veterans that went through the island hopping campaign in the Pacific. I was like, I can give you the imagery, from that. I don't think she has any interest just yet, but maybe she'll. I keep trying to convince her.
She'll come around. Maybe.
Matt, an American combat Marine, rough, tough, grumble guy, in his spare time is trying to choreograph his own daughter's ice skating routines. So you want to talk about taking an interest,
at least one,
an active interest in your kid's interest. That is, I don't think we could top that example.
Well, I think we can.
Okay.
So I would never in my life would have gone to this thing called Shin Yun that came to town, and is
that like a Chinese buffet?
I remember you.
It's kind of like a ballet. Not really a ballet, but it's basically dancing, and it's all about Chinese culture.
Okay.
So it's all about China before communism. And so they, showing how extravagant and how artistic it was before communism took over.
Mm-hmm.
And my daughter really wanted to go to that. And I was like, well, heck, that'd be a great daddy-daughter date. I was like, we'll go to that. And I wasn't really looking forward to it because it's really not my thing. But it opened my eyes. I was like, that may be one of the coolest performances I've been to because they were
You get a t-shirt?
I didn't get a t-shirt because I don't think they may have been selling t-shirts. I don't know. I'm very cheap when I go to concerts. We did get popcorn. She got a Gatorade. But, the
I didn't
music,
get a water. I just ate popcorn dry because it's too expensive.
choke it down.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. And then they came this year, but she was figure skating while they were here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have gone back with the whole family because I was like, that would be something that everybody would enjoy. So a lot of these things, even though you may not really have an interest in them, fake it until you make it because it's worked out for me. Like I really enjoyed that and I wanted to go back. And so some of the stuff that my kids like, I have a really hard time with because they like the anime cartoons and I can't get into the anime cartoons at all.
Right.
I cannot do it. I've tried to sit there and be like, I can't.
Yeah.
But
now I've tried the anime cartoons because my kids got into Pokemon, and I did the same thing. Like I can't do the anime. It just their lips don't move. It's not good. They just like
they
shake
move
and
they move, but it's translated into English, and so it's like, yay!
Yeah,
it doesn't. The words just don't line up.
terrible.
Yeah.
But they got into Pokemon card collecting
Yeah.
and trading and all that stuff. And so I was like, well, I used to collect baseball cards. Maybe this is something that I can do.
Hey, a card's a card.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something I can do alongside them that would be fun for all of us to do. And so we started a YouTube channel around it, and I started buying different sets of cards. And so like I dove deep. Like I know all about, not all, but I'm learning all about Pokemon cards and Pokemon card collecting. And we started this YouTube channel. And so every day when I get home now, they're like, oh, we're going to rip some packs open tonight, Dad. I'm like, no, not tonight. Maybe this weekend. And so it's kind of something we set aside for weekend activities. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun to do.
No, I think that's good. And one of the things that Jeff Campbell brings up in the article is it what you're doing is showing your kids, you're demonstrating that they have value. Their ideas are valuable. You are putting value into what their interests are, and it's helping them develop as a person. And so it also creates more opportunity for quality time, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the really important things about taking an interest in what your kids have interest in.
Yeah. All right. Let's move to the next one. Number 5, let kids develop their own interests.
So I'll jump in here. This one is I was in a conversation just a couple of weeks ago, and it was around like the dad really enjoyed doing something, and the kid showed interest in it when they were really young. And I think it was in a hunting context. Bought them all the gear or fishing, something like that. That's where I could be. I struggled with, I think, as a dad. Oh, you want to go fish? Oh, we're going to go to Academy and buy you all the stuff. And then you go fishing like 2 or 3 times, and then they're like, I don't want to go. They're like, fine. And you sell all the stuff, and you're like, okay, they don't do the things that I like them to do. Or the wrong way of going about that is you force them to do it. Like, this is what I do. This is what you're going to do.
We're going to go make memories.
Like get in the boat. We're going fishing. I don't care if you like it or not. It doesn't matter to me. My interest or what you're going to have to be. If you want to spend time with me, you're going to be doing the stuff that I want to do. And then you're not allowing your kids to develop into their own thing. They are just boxed in to eventually probably hate what you love.
Yeah.
Because you're forcing them to do that. And so I think all 3 of us really enjoy the outdoors. We like to hunt and fish. All of us have had opportunities to take our kids out. In my instance, my daughters like to go when they were younger. Right now, it happens in the morning on a weekend. And that's not going to happen. Like, I'm not doing that. Stone found out here recently that he can sleep just about anywhere. So if you want to get up, and of course he's away at college, but if he's home on a weekend, you want to go duck hunting? He's like, yeah, sure. And if the ducks aren't flying, he's snoring. Like he's like, I'll go out there if I'd love to spend some time with you, and I have fun doing this, but I also can get bored, and if I get bored, I'll go to sleep. And I'll never forget. It was a few years ago. It was before he went away to college. We're stoned, and we just looked over there, and he's like laying down on the sand bank of the river, just out, like dead to the world.
That's awesome.
But sometimes that comes back around, right? So there may be an initial interest, and then if you let them go, they may go in a different direction, and that's fine. You need to kind of, like the previous one, follow them in their interest, get interested in those kinds of things. But you may find that they come right back around later in life to those things that you're also interested in. That I think if you would have forced them the whole way, they would like totally reject it and never get back into it.
I think that's kind of what happened with my dad and me. Because he would want to take me fishing all the time. And I went a couple of times as a young kid, but just was bored to tears, man. We never caught any fish. Yeah. It sucked. But then once I got like 12, 14, then, my interest peaked again, started duck hunting, started going fishing again with him. But from, age 6 to 12 or 14, like I could have cared less. I did not want to do that. And he didn't force me to do it either. So yeah, I came around.
And so my son's gotten into racing, like football. Yeah, I get that. Not a big deal to sit down and watch a game. Formula One racing.
Yeah, he's gotten into
following
that recently,
all these European
right?
teams. It's the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And so he's real big. So, tough to get him up on a weekend to go hunting. He'll wake up at 3:00 in the morning to watch a race in Europe. He's into it.
Has he done that race simulator here?
No, I don't think so.
Glass House? Dude, he needs to check that out.
But no, does it cost money?
Yeah, he's working, man.
He doesn't need to check it out.
Stone, go check it out. Glass House.
Save it.
Wichita.
But anyway, so like I was in Singapore on a work trip, and there's all these like cages around the street and orange barriers. And I'm like, what's going on? The taxi driver. We're on the racetrack for the Formula One race that's coming in a couple of weeks.
Oh, nice.
They're setting it up. It's through the city, And so I'm getting my camera out and I'm starting to video it. It's like, I'm on a Formula One racetrack right now. And so I'm sending that to Stone and all that kind of stuff. So he's developing his own thing, and it's really cool. I love it. I've had the opportunity to pursue things that I enjoy that my dad didn't force me into. And I think that's, as a good dad, allowing that. They're going to be different. They're not you. It's not a Matt Jr. and they're going to love everything that Matt loves, or Chet Jr. going to love everything that I love. Let them pursue those things. Yeah,
it's not a one size fits all. I've got two. Both of you guys have more kids than I do, but my youngest loves soccer. So that and soccer, that's a sport that I'm passionate about. So it's really easy for me to get involved with that. But the one thing is I think as dads, if we have an interest, like you said, Chet, like your kids start showing interest in hunting, well, you're going to go buy them all the gear. You're going to go buy them, we got to go to vest. We got to make sure that you staying warm. So we got to go get all these hunting clothes, even though we're going to be in a heated blind with, food and whatever, but we need all this
deer
stuff.
Hunting.
We need all this stuff, and dads tend to go overboard on that type of stuff. And I noticed that with soccer, like I send her videos on certain, positions and ways to move, and just trying to be a coach instead of trying to be a dad, and just support what she's doing. And one of the things that was funny to me was she wrote me it may have been last Father's Day, wrote me a note, and just a thank you note for thanks for whatever, and thanks for telling me, after games, telling me everything that I did wrong, and it's like, so, I'd really thought about that hard, and it's like, I really need to focus on, just being a dad and saying, hey, you did a great job, and then if they ask, hey, what could I have done better? Then at that point, hey, hey, I thought it was a great game. Maybe work on this a little bit this next week and just see where you're at, but I mean, that's your coach's job. It's not my job. So kind of trying to take more of a back seat on the coaching aspect of it, letting her coach do all of that and just being a dad.
Letting her pursue her interests, not you pursuing her interests for her.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we as dads, we want to help. We want to fix things. We want the absolute best for our kids. And so it's easy for us to go overboard in that stuff. And just reminding ourselves in that process, hey, take a step back. Your dad, your cheerleader at that point, not the coach.
And I think that's one area where humility can really come into play and very beneficial. If any of my kids were to say, I really want to get into fishing and I want to go start, get into some tournaments and whatnot.
You're going to go tell them to talk to Matt.
I'm all in, I will be enthusiastically spending money to help them pursue that. Now, if they said, I want to pursue a Pokemon trading career, would I be all in on that? And would I help them financially pursue that? And I think that's what this trait is talking about, is let them pursue that and support them in that pursuit, whatever it is, even if it's something that doesn't align with where you're comfortable. So have enough humility to say, I don't know anything about this. Let's learn and let me support them as they grow in that area.
Yeah, it's good. All right, y'all ready to jump on to the next one?
Let's do it.
Number 6. Don't have a different set of rules for your kids than you do for yourself.
Yeah, we're good at that. Next. Next.
When I said earlier, this one kicks me in the teeth. First thing I think of is like stuff at the house.
Yeah.
Because we have a rule, like you eat at the table or you eat at the bar, the island, and that's it. You don't take food anywhere else. You don't eat downstairs.
Right.
You don't eat on the couch. And I eat on the couch all the time.
Yeah.
I eat in my bed sometimes.
Yeah. But I understand why you have those rules.
Well, yeah.
Because you can eat where the food all goes in your mouth.
In my mouth and not all over everything else.
Right.
But then I'm reminded of sometimes when I have spilt cereal in my bed or
What?
ramen.
When's the last time you ate cereal in your bed, Matt?
2 nights ago, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I can't remember the last time I've had cereal in my bed. You guys are living your best life.
I spilled ramen on my laptop, last week.
Let me eat a bowl of soup over my laptop.
It was like when I went to sit down, it hit the table and spilled. I was like, dadgummit. Yeah.
I bet that's what you said.
Yeah.
Which leads me to mine. And that's one thing that I've been, again, open with on this podcast, just in general, is I've got a foul mouth that can just come out at any point in time, and I tell my kids, hey, if I hear them say something, hey, we don't talk like that, and, or even my wife, something will slip up, hey, what are you doing? And then I notice myself 2 days later, what the,
Yeah.
It's like, so I'm open with it about, I'm like, hey, I'm really trying to fix it. So I need you guys to help me. So don't screw up to where you make me mad where I have to do this. But that was a joke, by the way.
Okay.
For them not to make me mad. So
I got you. I
Oh,
follow you. Yeah.
I missed that one.
Don't make me mad, so I'll start.
Yeah. So
cussing.
Yeah. So I need you to help me not curse by, not doing stuff that makes me feel that way. But, and so, or, if they're watching like a YouTube video or something like that, and I come in, I catch it. I'm like, what are you watching? That's not, we're not watching that.
Yeah.
We're not watching that. Like, turn that off.
Right.
And then they come into my room and, there's Pacific on, and blood and guts and killing people and whatever, it's like, so yeah, I mean, it's tough, and there's different times. So there's different times where that may be age appropriate.
Yeah.
Maybe watch that when they're not around or something like that, so they don't see you doing that. And then maybe as they get older, where they can understand those situations.
That's where the age appropriateness and understanding comes into play. And I think the younger, the harder the line needs to be. And I'll tell you the one that still exists even when your kids are teenagers or beyond is the stupid electronic devices. And the ability to do good things on your phone is the assumption is if they're on their phone, they're goofing off. And if I get on my phone, it's for a reason. And the reality is, I don't have to be on my phone.
Yeah.
Ever. You know, I mean, there's just that, hey, I'm not going to be on my phone. I don't want you on it. I don't need to be on it. Oh, I'm going to go look at this, sale, or I'm going to go, I forgot to figure that thing out for Matt, and I got to go do that right now. I'm like, no, I just got on my kids for being on their phone. I'm just not going to do it.
So
or I'm going to go somewhere.
That's why you didn't text back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only reason. I always want to talk to you.
Bull. So I will say, I was pretty proud of my youngest just a couple days ago because she went out with my mom, and they had done something. They ordered something or made something when they went out, and then so she picked her up to go pick it up and whatever, and so we were talking the other day, and she goes, I just really enjoyed my time with Clara. She didn't pick up her phone once. The whole time that we were out, she wasn't on her phone. She was there. She was just very polite, very respectful, and that's absolutely what you want from your kids, And both of my kids are that way, which is very nice. We may not get that at home, all the time, right? But when they go out and they're representing you and your family to the world, they're that they're putting their best foot forward. But that all starts
in the home,
at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, that was the three that we covered today. I think, Matt, you got a Bible verse for us today to end up the episode with?
I do, and I wasn't.
The most often, Proverbs 22:6, it's the most, in my life, has been the most often misapplied scripture out there. It is, people normally take this way out of context.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Proverbs 22:6 says, "Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it."
Yeah, there's a dude growing
Train up a child.
He would quote this verse like on Wednesday night prayer meeting, and his kid was 30 something, far as I knew at my young age, but it was a bad dude, a drunk. Like, I never saw the guy, because he's just like out there, maybe in jail. I don't know. But he would say, I'm leaning on this verse, and I had him at VBS, and then whenever he lived in my house, he was in church on every Sunday, and saying, I know the Bible says if you train him up in the way he should go, he's not going to depart from it when he's old. And so I started digging into that, like, does the Bible really say just have them in church, and then when they're old, they're going to be in? And that's not what it says. This is in the context of like a trade or an apprenticeship. If they find that thing that really ignites that spark in themselves, double down on that.
Yeah.
And it will sustain them through their life. Like,
because that's like the way God has set for them to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm energized by creating videos.
That's their gift.
Right?
That's their gift.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a gift. And if it's our job as dads to kind of expose our children to all sorts of different things, so they find that passion, and then we guide them towards that passion,
right?
So they have something to lean on throughout their life that they're passionate about.
And in that context, and I think why that verse applies to today's episode, what their interests are, especially when it comes to a career path. If it's not college, I want to do something with my hands.
Heck yeah, let's go buy a welder and $3,000 worth of tools.
I got to build a shop. I got to build a shop. I can spend as much on that as I would a college education. But that's what you allow that. Like, if that's the way they should go, get them the training, train them up in that, and let's go. That's what the context of that verse is.
Stupid movie quotes. Have you guys ever seen Corky Romano?
No. Is that the Catan?
Yeah,
Chris Catan from Saturday Night Live?
Yes. Oh, okay. My goodness. It's one of those things I should buy a boat. It just reminds me of that. So if you're dad out there, it's a dad joke, but see that movie, go watch it. You'll get the meaning.
Thank you for that.
All right. Well, we'll be back next week talking on the next three. Model the behavior you expect from them. Explain to them the why behind the rule. And then number 9 is going to be give yourself a timeout when needed.
Ooh, timeout.
Timeout, Dad. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Check out hardheadedpodcast.com. for any T-shirts that you want to grab.
Yeah, and if you're enjoying this this new direction, please share. Get some conversation going. Get some more listeners. That would be fantastic.
Yep.
We don't know. You got to tell us.
That's right. But we will be back next week.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.